When you're on a budget and you at your daughter's wedding, get you a case of Dr. Thunder.
DisplayJ.com.
Trade show displays, step and repeat backdrops, pull-up banner stands, table throws, all your large printing needs. Call Display J at 301-378-9363. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
DisplayJ.com.
This is the Salty Sam Show, where we talk about all the topics of what's going on in today's America in the saltiest fashion. We have the vent hotline in the bottom. We always take phone calls, anonymously, of course, and you're allowed to vent anything that you feel, because in this show, in the Salty Sam Show, we believe in an unfiltered expression, and we believe in free speech and being able to say whatever it is that you want to say. So joining us, growing the Salty Sam Show, is actually giving you a voice and bringing power back to the American people and to the entire world of self-expression. Thank you, and I hope to see you on the show. Hope to hear from you.
People back together having fun.
Welcome to MD Arsenals. Stop by our store located in Hagerstown, Maryland, right off the I-70.
Our shop and range hours are every day, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, every day.
To find out more about our upcoming classes and other services, please visit our website, www.mdarsenal.com. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and watch for the upcoming MD Arsenal podcast.
This is the podcast pit, brought to you by Ben Media.
I'm just saying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that special time of the week. It is time to talk some wrestling. This is the Podcast Pit. I am your host, former professional wrestler, promoter of Voltage Wrestling, jack of all trades, master of what I do not know, Mike Rennes. I'm alongside my broadcast partner, Rennes, the Menace, Carball. How you doing, Rennes?
Doing well, Mike. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
Yeah?
Not too bad.
You look a little tired coming in here this morning.
It's been a little bit of a week.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of a week. You know, we're a week and a half out from Showtime.
No, we're not. We're a week out from
yeah.
Showtime.
We're a week out from Showtime now.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes in for those of you who haven't promoted indie wrestling. There's a lot of things that go into putting a show of this magnitude on.
Yeah.
And yeah, we
were there on what day was that? Thursday, out at the site.
Yes,
doing some logistical work,
doing some site surveys, logistics, all that good stuff that nobody ever hears about when it comes to indie wrestling. So yeah, that's what we've been doing all week, and we are here with you still. No rest for the wicked, and no rest for myself as well. So we're here. We're talking some wrestling.
Yeah. What are we talking about, Mike?
We are talking about a lot this week. Specifically, the amount of indie wrestling shows going on over the next 7 days in the Eastern Panhandle. Ladies and gentlemen, pro wrestling is back in the Eastern Panhandle. It's back with a force. We've got some great lineups for you. Not only just today with CPW down in Falling Waters. We've got EPPW next Friday night, June 4th, in Martinsburg, West Virginia. And we've got the shocking debut of Voltage Wrestling the next night. Man.
Yeah, it's kind of the event a year plus in the making at this point.
Absolutely, a year plus in the making. We are doing our best here to get this out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're trying hard. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to talk about the one going on today.
Yeah,
we got CPW.
CPW, friend of the channel, Shane Shadow's promotion.
Yes, so Shane Shadows.
You've interviewed, I think, twice now.
Yeah, we've had Shane Shadows.
Had some really good interviews with him on. Yeah.
So we've got Shane's running down at Riverbend Park this afternoon. We've got a lineup. We can go ahead and bring up that lineup. In the main event, we have got Tate Griffin versus the Patriot, and ladies and gentlemen, the Patriot, a mainstay here in the area. He's wrestled all over this area. A former WWE superstar. Guys legit. Tate Griffin, another one who is as legit as they come here in the area. One of the OGs of area wrestling, here, so to speak.
Was he trained over here at the wrestling school? Did he not?
Yes, he did.
At the old House of Pain.
Trained over here at the wrestling school. That is going to be your main event. We've got a CPW title match. We've got King Kalua going against the one and only Bill Bain.
Bill Bain, does he still do the Scientology gimmick?
No, not doing the Scientology gimmick anymore.
That was a good gimmick, and I really liked that gimmick. The Scientology came out in the big black robe and everything. I thought it was a great gimmick. It got heat really easily.
Oh, well, yeah.
Easily.
You don't say.
Especially in in the Eastern Panhandle, West Virginia.
The Eastern Panhandle. It's kind of a little bit of a Bible belt.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. That. There's a lot of
what do I want to say? Old school mentality. Maybe
yes,
is
old,
the way
yeah. And I mean that's a big thing with CPW. They're big. They're big on running these holiday weekends.
Yeah.
We see them at Riverbend Park a lot. We see them at Big Bear Lake a lot, up towards the Morgantown area. But no, I mean that's one of their staples is running on these holiday Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day weekend. These summer shows for CPW, you get that old school kind of feel to it. The way I describe it. It's kind of like WWF in the late 70s.
Yeah.
If you were a fan of that, you're going to be a fan of CPW.
Agreed.
Shane has just it's a nostalgia, just the way that the cards are laid out. It's very nostalgic. Mm-hmm. And I mean, definitely, there's a market for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen over the last year with the NWA coming back. Mm-hmm. Or not the last year, the last 2 years, I should say, with the NWA coming back. There's a market for that, kind of nostalgic feel of professional wrestling, and I think Shane and crew
they do a really, really good job of it.
Yes, but yes, if you are a member of the park or if you got a campsite over at the park, you definitely want to go check it out. Riverbend Park this afternoon, CPW Wrestling. You can find more information. I know Shane Shadows has a Facebook page. If you go look that up, there's some more information on that event over there. But, a very unique wrestling event.
Yes.
Have you ever been to one of his Riverbend Park shows?
I can't say that I might have. I don't know. I can't 100% say yes.
You can't say
no. I'll have to definitely get out there sometime.
So it's really unique. It's unlike any other show as far from an independent wrestling standpoint that you're going to see. So they have the ring out in the baseball field, and the one big thing there is you have a bunch of campsites, so people kind of travel around the park in golf carts. So imagine. You got your ringside people, they're sitting on the blankets and stuff like that, kind of like at a festival, and then you've got the golf carts behind them. And they're all honking their horns or sitting in their golf carts watching the wrestling matches.
That's kind of cool.
It's a pretty unique atmosphere.
Yeah, I bet.
I've wrestled at a couple of them over the years. Hell, I wrestled Shane over there once or twice. It's always a staple of his tour during the summer. Shane's going to be at Riverbend Park and Big Bear Lake every summer.
That's cool.
During 4th of July and Labor Day weekend. So, this is a great opportunity to go out and see some old school wrestling and see some. Yeah, you're going to even see some guys that are big around here. It looks like, Mike Fox especially. He points this out. He's one of the most unique experiences I've ever seen in my life, and I tend to agree with that. A unique experience, a unique audience, and just an all-around good time. Get out there to Riverbend Park if you can. I don't know exactly what admission is to the park if you don't have a site. I think it's maybe $5 or something. Okay. But definitely get out there if you can and check out CPW Wrestling this afternoon.
Yeah. And then next Friday.
We got next Friday. Friday we have got the good folks at Eastern Panhandle Pro Wrestling running their return event called Slam Session. Now, there are a lot of guys on this show.
Yeah.
A lot of guys on this show that are mainstays in the area. I know one of the bigger matches on the show is going to be Corey Bush, our very own Corey Bush, host of the Hub Show, host of a number of things here.
Yeah.
You've seen him here on the podcast pit a time or two. Corey Bush is going to be going one-on-one with the Red Prince, TJ Sykes.
Who has also, we've had him on the show as well. Had a great interview with him, 6 or 7 months ago. It's been a while.
He's come on the show, he was just on the show a couple of weeks ago. Remember, he kind of barged into the studio and had some words about what Big Ben and Brandon Scott have been saying about him.
No, I meant TJ Sykes.
Oh, TJ Sykes.
Corey, yeah. Corey's been, Corey comes on when Corey wants to come
Corey
on.
He shows up, he talks, people get upset, people
he gets
retort,
upset.
He gets upset again. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
When you have the weight of the world in the room. He is very outspoken. Yeah. Never a loss for words.
Never a loss for words. But if you've never met Corey outside of a wrestling ring, he can talk for hours easily.
You get him on somebody, especially somebody who is after championships that he happens to hold
or want.
He will talk to days. He will talk for days.
Yeah.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, I show up, I see championships, I find the guy that has the championships, and I take those championships.
Right.
And that happens more often than not.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to be competing for the Voltage Championship. I mean, I think, talking to people, he might be he might be a favorite in this thing as of late.
He may be. Honestly, lots of talent in that tournament, but man,
I have talked to several people, friends of the show, friends who've seen the posters, seen the promos, everything. There's a lot of talk about Corey Bush.
There is. So Corey Bush, a big weekend for him. Obviously we're going to be talking about him a little bit later with the Voltage Wrestling talk. But with Eastern Panhandle Pro Wrestling, a lot of guys on this show. We've got Jordan Evans. We've got it looks like we've got Reggie Collins. We have got Corey Bush. We've got Sickened.
Looks
like Studio 22 is on this show. Studio 22, Jeremy Grimes and Chris Andino. We've got Jordan Evans, if I haven't mentioned him all.
Eric Ecton, who is, I believe, a championship holder there.
Yes, Eric Ecton is a championship. He's the EPPW Respect champion.
Yep,
and he won that in a tournament over the pandemic.
Yeah. And then notorious antagonist of the channel, I would say.
Oh, Captain
Decapitate. I believe he and Sabal are going to be there.
Yeah, he's got his boy Sabal down there Friday night. I'm kind of wondering because we've heard some things here and there from Captain D.
Right. I mean, fortunately for him, unfortunately, possibly for us, Captain D is going to be in the area.
He's going to be in the
He's already made his threats that he's going to be at Voltage.
Yeah, he is all over this coming weekend. I'm not even going to lie. Like, he's just all over.
Yeah, I think he's got his eyes on who the champion comes out of the TJ Sykes, Corey Bush, the Corey Bush title match. And I definitely think he's going to be at Voltage to keep his eyes on who the winners and the top contenders will be for the Voltage Championship here. Because he has said, if you go back and watch some of our older episodes, if you haven't, he has come on. He has, been a thorn in our side.
Yes.
Since we've been back in studio.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he has destroyed our set. He has beat you with a conch shell.
He did.
He has called in. He's been in Florida, and he's still figured out a way to call in here. He has blocked me in with his ship. I mean, it's
terrible.
One thing after another with
the hits keep on coming from Captain D. He has not let up.
I think, however, Captain D may meet his match very soon.
You think?
In one Big Daddy C, Brian Carball.
Oh yeah,
I think the rivalry outside of the rivalries has been brewing between these two on social media for weeks now.
Yeah, there was some,
and they're finally going to see each other face to face.
There was some talk about him on the Morning Crunch this week.
Oh yeah,
yeah, there was some talk. There was some smack talk going his way. I don't know if he's seen it yet, but I'm kind of looking forward to the retort.
Oh, who? Captain D?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, the host of the Morning Crunch were throwing some shade towards Captain D's.
Well, he has a history. He has a history with the Hub Show as well. I mean, he was an antagonist of the Hub Show as well, man.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen,
Jay, is that your way of saying that Captain D is also responsible for the rain that we're having today? And
no, that is a nice little plug for our Dr. Thunder.
Dr. Thunder, hit us up.
Contrary to popular belief, Diet Dr. Thunder does not taste like regular Dr. Thunder, but it's still pretty damn good. So, cheers to that.
Yeah, Dr. Thunder, hit us up. Sponsorship.
Need that money, all the money.
We're not proud.
We're not. We'll take sponsorships from anybody. But back to EPPW. We've got EPPW. They are in Kearneysville, West Virginia. From what I'm reading here, it's just a stone's throw away from Martinsburg. This is going to be taking place at 110 Dark Hill Road, Kearneysville, West Virginia. They've got a $10 pre-sale. It's going to be $12 at the door. You want to get these tickets in advance because obviously, you want to save yourself some money.
Yeah.
Save yourself some money and get out there and support independent wrestling. Like I say, each and every single week, independent wrestling, when you are out there buying a ticket for independent wrestling, you are supporting a dream. You're supporting the dream of EPPW. EPPW, like none of us really get rich from running these shows. We do this because we love it.
Right.
We do this because we love it. I mean, obviously, this first weekend back, right out of the gate, we're trying to throw everything at the wall right now and just try to get people to come out. But a lot of the organizations around here, it's more about passion.
Yeah.
And the guys at EPPW, they can tell you this better than I can. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a show you do not want to miss. A lot of stuff coming out of this. We've heard Corey here in the studio talking smack on TJ Sykes. Yep. There was a promo released a couple of weeks ago where he kind of retorted back towards TJ. This has been a long-standing rivalry.
Yeah.
a long-standing rivalry.
It's going to be a heck of a match, too. Both those guys are incredible performers inside, outside of the ring. And I tell you, it's going to be a
TJ's a guy.
heck of a match.
I'll say this. TJ Sykes is a guy that I don't think he gets enough credit for what a good performer that he's been.
Yeah.
You know, like I've known a little bit of the history of this guy since he's gotten in the business. You know, always very confident in himself, as you can tell by listening to him talk. Always very confident, but you know, he kind of got trained the old school way on the road and got his training here and there, and has really just pieced together a pretty nice little run here in the independent wrestling scene here in the area, here in the Baltimore area. Just a fantastic talent that you have to go like. You got to go out of your way to see TJ Sykes.
Yeah.
I really think him along with guys like Robbie Page, even guys like Corey Bush, and others, TJ Sykes is a bright spot from this area.
Yeah, I 100% agreed there.
Yeah, Brandon Scott would be another one that I'd throw in there with that. But TJ Sykes is a bright spot and nothing but a credit to this area as far as professional wrestling is concerned. I am interested to see what he does with Corey.
Yeah.
This time around, this is a long-standing rivalry.
Yeah.
And it's been 50-50 the whole way through this thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's going to be these guys are both hungry for this match. Coming out of quarantine, coming out of the lockdown and everything. With this being the first show back for EPPW, these guys are going to come hungry and they're going to come ready to fight.
Yeah, and I mean you've got a long-standing rivalry between these two. Like I keep saying it, keep reiterating, you got a long-standing rivalry between these two competitors. They're coming out of the pandemic. It's been a year layoff. And you know that tension and that bad blood is still there.
And they both think very highly of themselves.
Yeah.
They are both confident.
Now, if you ask either one of them, like if there's any doubt in their mind that they're going to win, and you're not going to hear that at all.
Right.
Like you're just not you're not going to hear them. Like they both think they're the very best that the area has to offer, and they're going to go in there and prove it to each other.
The unstoppable force meeting the unmovable object.
That is correct. And Tony Lowe here in the chat. We need a face off between Brian Carbaugh and the captain with Butch Hess as the moderator. Oh no.
Book it, Mike. Book it.
Man.
And a special podcast pit event.
Speaking of Tony, like Deuce Donatelli is on the card for CPW this afternoon at Riverbend Park. Definitely, guys, again, go out and check that show out. You want to go out and support these indies this weekend and next weekend. This is a big week for professional wrestling in the area.
And heck, while you're at, you can see Friday night EPPW, and then on Saturday night, turn around, come to O'Connell's Irish Pub, bell time 7:30 for Voltage, the shocking debut.
We've got the 8-man tournament.
Yep.
We've got the 8-man tournament to crown the very first Voltage Wrestling Grand Champion.
Yeah. Yeah, this tournament has been we've gone through several different iterations. We've gone through talent. We had talent booked. Those people can no longer do it because of the pandemic. We originally had other people in this tournament a year ago.
This tournament looked completely different a year ago when we were going to present it. And due to what they say, card's subject to change. Yes, card is subject to change.
We found, I think some of the best replacements for those people on this card.
Yeah, it was almost like addition. And
they're not even I don't want to say replacement. Replacement implies that they're not as good, but they're every bit as good as the people who were on the card originally.
Yeah,
I mean it. And some of these guys have only gotten better over quarantine.
Yeah, there's a lot of these guys. At Celeb Fest a couple of weeks ago, I was having my chat with Ben Bishop off the camera.
Right.
And I remember saying to him, I was like, this pandemic's probably one of the best things that's happened to you.
Right.
To start your career on, because it's made you go out and travel right off the bat.
He was able to travel and go places and make those connections and talk to those people and get that experience. And
you're working with a lot of diverse talent pools,
right?
Especially he was traveling down to Tennessee a lot, like getting to work, down there with a lot of really fantastic talent. So that made him better. Just better right off of the bat. Like he's leaps and bounds better than he would have been if he would have just kind of stuck in the area.
Right.
Another one who we had on the card and is no longer with us. Like Kevin Mears was the same way.
Right.
In regards to that, like where he was just he didn't stay stagnant during the pandemic. He kind of got back out there. What opportunities are out there? I need these opportunities. I'm taking these opportunities.
He traveled the country training. Like, you've got Mad Max Morrison. I mean, we had him on the show very early when we were back in the studio. He was one of our first guests.
Yeah.
And, he was talking about how, he has taken the time to work on, lifting weights, putting on the muscle, getting better at what he does. He started his own podcast, and he's only gotten better on the mic through that platform.
Well, yeah.
To see these guys that we have on this tournament, these guys on this tournament, I don't think any of the guys on this tournament sat around during quarantine and remained stagnant.
No, not at all.
These guys only got better. They took they saw the opportunity and they seized the opportunity.
Look at a guy like Victor Benjamin. I ran into this guy 4 years ago. It was at a show called Dropkick Drug Addiction. It was ran by Tanner Reynolds. Fight Pro Wrestling had some involvement with it at the time as we were taping some matches for our television. So I ran into him and was just kind of blown away by what I saw of him. And this was, this is like 4 or 5 years ago. I was blown away by what I saw of him right off of the bat. Didn't get a chance to work with him and fight, but getting him involved with this event, albeit this was a replacement, but I think this was it's almost an improvement,
right,
in some ways.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the performer that he replaced,
right,
but having a guy who's the last 5 years has just has gone out of his way to get in front of a lot of really
The guy worked Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, man.
Yes.
That's a big deal. The guy, heck, I mean, and not just him, but his wife, Lady Frost. She, those two both have. I mean, it was as an iron sharpens iron type thing. She has worked. She just worked Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
I think it was either Warrior Wrestling or Mission Pro. I want to say, I can't remember which one because I know Thunder Rosa does stuff at both. But, just followed both of them on Twitter. I mean, the man, Victor Benjamin, has a way with words as well. The man is the Butterfinger champion. Do you know how he got that?
How did he get
just
that?
by being on Twitter and showing his love of Butterfingers and getting his friend his followers and stuff to beg for this championship, get this championship, and he earned it. He is now the Butterfinger sent him a champion. There is something to be said of a man who can get a company to have them create a belt for him.
This is true.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah, this is absolutely true.
He's the peanut butter champion, man.
The peanut butter champion. I think Ben Bishop's going to have some stuff to say about that.
Yeah. He and Ben have had some words. About
Ben was saying he was showing his peanut butter privilege there a little bit in the promo a couple of weeks ago. So
what did he say? Loyalty before royalty, bub.
Yeah. So Tony Lowe in the chat, he's like, I think Jason Ratt has finally hit the gym. Oh man,
you think? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you think dude, it's like Davey Boy Smith reincarnated with him. Like he's just like that's what he reminds me of. He's like built like the British Bulldog.
Yeah, I mean that, and God rest his soul, but Chris Benoit, like he just kind of has that look and that style, man. Say what you will about Chris Benoit and the tragedy and terrors that he did, but inside the ring there was no one better.
Oh yeah,
there was no one better. Do yourself a favor. Go watch what Paul Heyman has to say about. He did a Inside the Ropes interview. What he says about Chris Benoit. It's very interesting.
Absolutely. We've got Sicken versus Miles Millennium in this tournament. This is a first time matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be That's going to be
it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know,
I'm looking at the implications of afterwards because the second round, because we've got Corey Bush versus Brandon Scott, and no matter who wins either one of these,
Miles Millennium are going to have to face one of those two.
Yeah, so no matter what happens in this first round, the second round matchups are going to be just as interesting.
I mean, we could get Miles versus Corey, Miles versus Brandon, or Sicken versus Corey, Sicken versus Brandon, you know.
No, you've got Corey Bush in there as a guy who's taken big cast to his limit versus a guy who literally took the NWA champion
twice, I believe,
to his limit twice. Brandon Scott is everything that he says he is in the ring.
Yeah,
and backs it up each and every time that he goes out there. And Corey the same way.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's going to do it the night before at EPPW.
You think that'll play?
I'm almost wondering how the EPPW match is going to play into this first round of this tournament.
Because there's a couple things mentally and physically. If Corey wins at EPPW on June 4th, Brandon better watch out because he's going to be coming off that high. He is going to be ripping and raring for another title.
Well, what happens with TJ Sykes? If TJ Sykes, maybe he wins, maybe Corey wins, but what happens if TJ takes him to his limit and Corey shows up a little beat up and a little worse for wear from the night before?
Mentally, maybe he's not there.
I'll say this: like a 2 or 3 day weekend with professional wrestling, it takes its toll.
Right.
It takes its toll.
But will it take its toll on Corey Bush, one of the most resilient, hardest working people in this area?
Absolutely. I think
it
has to.
I mean, yeah, maybe. But, Corey, I have a feeling that with Corey, this back-to-back night, I feel like that's another, it's a walk in the park. He's done it before. I guarantee you he's done it before.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're coming off a year layoff.
Yeah.
And I know, and all due respect, but I know Corey. I know Corey hasn't been working as much as some of the other guys on that year off. He's been in the gym, obviously, but actual competition, you haven't seen as much.
Right.
Now, granted, bro, with a guy his size and what he does, you don't lose that overnight.
No.
You're going to be able to come in and do it, but I'm kind of wondering. I'm wondering what's going to happen from a conditioning standpoint because he was pretty active before the pandemic.
Right.
Coming back, working TJ Sykes, and then coming in the next night to work Brandon Scott. I want to see what's going to happen here. What's going to happen the first 2-3 day weekend in professional wrestling here coming out of the gate in June. What's going to happen?
It's going to be interesting nonetheless. There's a lot of different ways this could go.
A lot of different ways. I mean, you could. What happens if TJ Sykes, granted, TJ Sykes could put a hurting on him the night before, and then he comes in and he's not ready for Brandon Scott.
Or he loses and he takes his anger out on Brandon Scott.
Yeah, I can tell you this right now.
There's a real possibility of that.
I can tell you right now there is nothing that I want to encounter less than a pissed off Corey.
No.
I would not want to be across the ring from him if he's already upset.
Right.
In a tournament situation where a title is up for grabs, that's not a good time.
Right.
It's not a good time at all.
No. You've got people who, Ben Bishop.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about hard working and working on, that guy travels. We talked about it up and down.
Yeah, and he's going against. I mean, he's going to be in there with Raditz, a power guy.
Well, I believe he's also wrestling somewhere 2 nights before. Both nights. I mean, is that going to have anything to do with?
I think Ben's in Tennessee or Kentucky the night before this show.
Yeah.
So you kind of wonder, he's the travel involved in that because I know he's flying in.
Right.
He's flying in and heading straight to our event. So. I kind of wonder, going down to Tennessee and then traveling up here. Granted, he's in a lot better condition than most people in the tournament.
Right.
And that's all due respect to everybody. However, you got a guy in Jason Raditz that dude don't take no days off from the gym.
No.
That dude takes 0 days off in anything. The power guy versus the biggest guy in the tournament.
Yeah.
And the power guy also has a very, very strong technical ability.
Yep.
He's
gonna. There's a possibility he's a little fresher.
Could be.
He's a little more rested. He's
that top half of the tournament. The Raditz, Bishop, and the Morrison and
this is going to be some heavy hitting.
Yeah, that top half of the tournament, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Oh yeah.
So, what else we have here? We've got the one we haven't really talked about too much is the Morrison and Benjamin match.
Yeah.
The hardest, the wild-eyed headbanger, one of the hardest heads in area wrestling.
Yeah.
Versus probably somebody who's the best pure striker in the tournament.
I was about to say, if you follow him on Twitter, you've seen him on Twitter, on his Instagram. First of all, the dude's built like a brick shit house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is.
Both of them. Both of them are
that's
built.
true. Yeah, they're both. But I've seen, Victor hitting that heavy bag, man, and he's got some MMA background, man. It's scary. Dude, I don't want to be on the receiving end of any of the hits coming from that man.
It is really scary. Dude, I posted the video a couple of weeks ago on the Voltage Wrestling page of him just knocking that guy out with a Superman punch.
Yeah.
And
yeah. But is that Superman punch going to be enough? Is it going to get through the thick skull of the wild-eyed headbanger Mad Max Morrison?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out next weekend.
And is it going to take one? Is it going to? Who knows? Will it take one? Will it take two? I don't.
Yeah. Is he going to have to? Is he going to have to switch it up mid-match? Because
Right.
I mean, this guy's with the MMA background, he's got to have pretty good submission background.
Oh yeah.
Does he switch it up? Does he switch it up mid-match?
Avoid it altogether. Avoid the head altogether.
I would avoid. I would avoid the striking
down on the mat, man.
I would avoid the striking altogether and just go for the submissions. And that's just me.
That's a good strat. That would be a good strategy against
that
this
is
guy.
that is Mike Raddick's keys to victory on that one. But
stamp of approval.
That is Mike Raddick's keys to victory, brought to you by Dr. Thunder.
Diet, Dr. Thunder.
But guys, this tournament is going to be very interesting.
I think
the second round matchups.
The tournament alone is worth the price of admission.
Yes, the second round matchups. I think that's the most interesting part about this is the second round matchups are going to be even better than some of the first round matchups.
Yep.
Just based on the combinations. I mean, you could have Miles Millennium and Corey Bush. We've never seen that. We could have Sicken versus Brandon Scott. Somebody. Oh wow. I'm not reading that.
No,
one.
we can't read.
Yeah, I ain't reading that one. No. We get Sicken versus Brandon Scott, two guys that basically use the same finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of which variation could be better?
Yeah, if that match comes to fruition, it's going to be a fight to see who gets that finisher off first.
Yeah, I mean, what happens if we get Miles versus Brandon Scott? That could be a barn burner right there. That could be a real barn burner.
Yeah.
No, but let me ask you, if you had to pick somebody in this tournament, who do you think?
I don't know if I want to do that. As one of the producers of Voltage and stuff, I don't know if I can, in good faith, choose a guy. I tell you, man, I'll tell you what I'll tell you what I've heard. I mean, because I'm not going to choose a guy.
Yeah.
In good faith, I'm not going to choose a guy. But I tell you, there are some favorites coming out of this. There's some, I'm telling you. Corey comes in here and says, "Oh, people are sleeping on me. People don't."
Nobody's sleeping on Corey.
No one is sleeping on Corey.
Nobody's sleeping on Corey.
Yeah, I've heard. I think it was who was it? Was it who did we see at Celeb Fest a couple weeks ago? You big timed him.
Oh, Barry Kramer.
Was it Barry?
Yeah,
was it Barry that said? It was either Barry or one of the other guys we saw said something. I think Corey might take it now. After seeing Corey come in here and bust in here and basically put everyone on notice, there are people. Corey's changed some minds. We've got Corey. We've got Victor Benjamin is probably the one with, I would say,
dude,
the most
it's hard pressed. I'm hard pressed to bet against him.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he could be the biggest surprise in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean Barnett's
It's not even a surprise.
I mean, Bloodsport's one of the toughest events of the year.
Oh yeah, and seeing his performance at Bloodsport, I mean, he went in there like it was a pretty good showing.
Yeah,
it was a pretty good showing. I believe it was a loss, but still. Being there for the first time and just kind of getting your feet wet and intermingling with that kind of talent and putting together the showing that he did is quite impressive.
And he got there for a reason. He was there for a reason. He got there because he showed that promise. You know, he showed everyone what he could do.
Yes. Yeah, and being on an event like that takes place during one of the biggest wrestling weekends of the year.
Mm-hmm. Mike Fox in the chat. But well, we got a couple of Bush was my favorite, and then I met Bishop. Yeah, Mike, I believe you were.
You summed it up. Yeah,
you saw it. So Mike was at Celeb Fest, and I think he said what you and I both said. You do not realize how big Ben Bishop is until you meet this guy.
You really don't.
I mean,
he's gigantic.
Yeah. 6'12", 15% of a metric ton is not just a gimmick. It's the honest to God truth.
Yeah, when we really put over how tall this guy is, like you don't understand until you see him in person.
Right.
I didn't like. It still didn't even sink in for me until I saw him stand next to Kevin Nash, and he's just as tall, if not a little bit taller.
Yeah.
So that should tell you everything you need to know right there. But, one of the things that we really want to put over is just, like, how talented he is on top of just – I mean, it's not just – he's not just a size guy. Yeah. Like, this guy's very talented in the ring, especially for – he started his career, last February.
Yeah.
So February 2020, he made his debut, Michael's 8th Avenue in Baltimore, and since then has just been kind of putting together a really solid little run in professional wrestling. Best first year in wrestling that I've seen in a while, so take that for what it's worth.
Barry said his feelings are still hurt from that big time. And
Barry, I apologize. We gotta get Barry on here so we can give him like the big time redemption. Yeah. We're going to get Barry on here. Next time we have Ed Stilk down, we'll have to bring him down with Ed. Get him basically give him the podcast pit redemption.
Yeah, Ed Stilk is going to be at the event. Good friend of the channel. He'll be there.
Yes, Ed Stilk probably. I always call him the unofficial podcast pit wrestling historian.
Yeah, he'll be there. I think he's going to do a write up to provide some afterthoughts for the show, I believe, and do the results and stuff.
Yeah, part of Ed Stilk, one of the part of the Voltage Wrestling web team.
Yeah,
me, Kyle Reyes, Ed Stilk.
Yep.
Getting it done, man. Getting it done, guys. But, again, want to really reiterate what a big weekend this is for area professional wrestling. Yeah. If you're a wrestling fan in this area, please, if you haven't heard about these shows already, which if you've been watching the show, I don't know how you couldn't have heard. But if you haven't heard about these shows already, please get out and support these shows.
CPW today. We've got EPPW next Friday night. We've got Voltage Wrestling, the shocking debut, at next Saturday night. Get out and support these shows, and let's get independent wrestling back and going strong like never before coming out of this pandemic. Yeah, tell your friends, family. There are tickets still available. There will be tickets at the door. We got confirmation that the outdoor bar will be open for business while we're there. LAJ is going to be doing a little DJ and having some music playing. It's just going to be a good time, guys.
It's going to be a good time had by all.
Yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be a vibe,
Like, I've been paying attention to the ticket sales. I've had promoters from other areas that are coming down and down and bought tickets to this event.
Which we greatly appreciate.
But that should tell you about the talent on the show.
Yeah.
People are talent scouting.
Yeah.
People are talent scouting. We love it. We love to see it. And we're just very happy to see independent wrestling back and in full swing.
And to be a part of helping that come back.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Be a part of promoting these other EPPW, CPW. We had ATCW, and they've got a show coming up, I believe, June 19th, I think is their next show.
Yeah, ATCW's next show is June 19th.
Doug Delicious is going to be
I kind of want to
defending
see
his title.
I kind of want to see what's going to be coming out of this. The whole Doug
Yeah.
Delicious thing. Like Doug Delicious. It was a big surprise. I know your dad was sitting with me the entire time while we were watching the show.
Yeah.
And neither one of us expected Doug Delicious to pull that one out, and he did. In controversial fashion. Your dad says it's a good, clean win. But
How Bittner, what happens if it's pouring rain next Saturday? You know how we've been saying it all week. It's not going to rain.
Yep.
Not going to rain.
Not going to rain. Not going to rain.
It's going to be a great time. Weather's going to be gorgeous. Obviously.
We've been paying attention to the forecast the entire time.
Yeah,
so.
we promise. Not going to rain.
Yeah, no rain. No rain in the forecast. There was a little bit of rain earlier this week that they were calling for on June 5th, but that is dissipated. It has gone away. And we can go ahead. Hal, we're going to go ahead and pull up the 10-day for you right now.
I'm going to pull up the 7-day because the one I use only goes 7 days at a time. It's very accurate. I'm a big fan of it, called Dark Skies. Saturday, June 5th, as of right now, 83 degrees, clear throughout the day. Sunset is at 8:37 p.m. The moon is a waning crescent moon, and it's a 26% chance of rain in the morning.
In the morning. Like it. But it's going to be a nice night to watch wrestling. It's going to be it'll be cooler during the evening. So, you won't be dealing with that 80
Heck, man. I mean, we were out there the other day, and it was, 78?
Yeah,
degrees,
78.
And it was
nice.
It was shady. It's gotten some nice shade there. You're not going to be baking in the sun. And you know what? If you can and you're of age, and you know what? Get yourself a fine Pilsner. I'm sure they'll have a couple Miller Lights, some Bud Lights, some fine Pilsners.
Once the show is over, I'll be enjoying some fine Pilsners myself.
Oh, won't we all?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll need them.
Yeah.
we'll need them after this one, man. It's been a road and a half, but Hal, we're looking at we're looking at clear skies, full hearts can't lose.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, and guys, come ready to not only support the guys in the ring, but I know a couple of the boys are gonna have their tables out. Get your buy the gear from these guys.
We're gonna have some tables out.
We're gonna have some Voltage T-shirts there, I believe. We're gonna have some Voltage T-shirts. We're gonna
we got the Voltage Wrestling T-shirts. We're gonna have some autographed merchandise.
Yep.
From other wrestlers other than the Sandman. Obviously, we're still we're still having the Sandman there. Mm-hmm. So that's a big plus. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot to do here on this event. We're going to have a lot of merchandise out for you guys to buy, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody there next Saturday night for the shocking debut.
Yeah. I think
that's about. We can talk a little bit about some of the wrestling news. I mean,
I'll go through it real quick. For those of you who don't know, SummerSlam is now on Saturday.
Really?
August 21st. It's a Saturday, man.
Saturday night. It's all right for fighting.
Yeah, man.
John said it best.
No word on where yet. Rumor was Vegas, but that is not set in stone from what I'm understanding. Possibly a big main event. Possibly Cena versus Reigns is what I'm hearing.
The big rumor that I heard this week, and take this for what it's worth.
Yep.
I know some people are going to groan about this, but when you hear the name, you'll get why they're involved. The big rumor is that Cardi B is going to be the host of SummerSlam.
I don't think that's a rumor at this point. I think it's confirmed.
It's like done deal.
From what I've been seeing. Do I know why it's a Saturday night? Nope. I have not found that information out yet. But I guess maybe they think they could draw bigger. Maybe. The biggest one is now if it is in Vegas. I thought there was a big boxing event that night, but I don't know if it's really going to matter.
No, and I also want to say this too because I know AEW they were primarily doing Saturday night pay-per-views.
Yep.
And
to avoid,
and like the one thing about WWE, they
Double or Nothing is on Sunday.
Yeah, they pay attention to this stuff. So the one big thing about WWE is if they see the viability of a Saturday night pay-per-view starting to spring up, they're going to take advantage of that. They're going to start scheduling some on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
What
else we got?
Let's see. Tom Phillips has been released.
Tom Phillips got released.
Jimmy Smith is now in as a Raw commentator. Jimmy Smith has done a lot for Bellator UFC. He currently hosts a show on Busted Open Radio, channel 155 on SiriusXM. I don't know. It's programmed, so I don't.
Yeah, the one big thing I do want to say something about is being said that WWE is trying to put together, and they are having discussions with New Japan Pro Wrestling about having the WWE becoming the exclusive American partner for New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is being said that the deal, if it came to fruition, top WWE talent would be sent to work for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And according to PW Insider, there are sources indicating that the discussions between WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling and the communications have been going on for several months, and that the main decisive issue is Daniel Bryan being able to work some dates for New Japan.
He wants to work other places. He doesn't want to work at WWE, and they want to do everything they can. Now, I think this whole thing is to be taken with a grain of salt.
Yes.
I don't know if I think that New Japan would not want to work with WWE because it would be I think it would end up being bad for them. They would send someone to WWE and WWE would screw it up.
Yeah, and
it's kind of what happened with Okada in Impact.
Well, yeah, and the thing with that is, I think the working relationships that they currently have, I think everybody kind of respects everybody. Whereas, you send some guys over to do some stuff on the main roster with Vince. You don't know what you're going to get right now at this point. One of the big things here prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, New Japan was working with Ring of Honor as their sole American partner. However, during the pandemic, they formed a working relationship with AEW and Impact Wrestling. Most recently, we had Yuji Nagata appearing on the May 12th episode of AEW Dynamite.
I think Ring of Honor also has a working relationship with them.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying first, yeah. But Yuji Nagata just appeared on Dynamite defending John Moxley was defending the IWGP.
Yeah,
United
wouldn't
States
that be
title.
interesting? Because John Moxley is the rightful title holder for the IWGP US title.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little interesting.
Yeah.
To see.
Well, and there are people who went back to New Japan, like Kenta, formerly Hideo Itami, to get away from WWE.
Yeah.
I think if WWE and New Japan would try to create a working relationship, I think the higher-ups would be all for it. I don't think the talent. I think there would be a revolt.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Because a lot of those guys who work for New Japan because they respect New Japan, but because they don't want to work for WWE.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see Tama Tonga being on WWE television.
No. I could see there's certain guys, right now, if his neck wasn't all jacked up, Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Doing some stuff, but Tama Tonga and guys like that. Tama Tonga is like one of the realest guys you're going to see on television.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah. I'm also interested to see where Daniel Bryan shows up next.
Yeah, because, the fact that this is being discussed, or it's being reported that is only being discussed to keep Daniel Bryan in the fold.
Right.
Should tell you, A, they know what Daniel Bryan's worth.
Uh-huh.
And B, this must have been very seriously discussed that he wants to work elsewhere.
Yeah.
The fact that they're catering to him like this should tell you all you need to know. Honestly, I would like to see Daniel Bryan outside of that WWE fold, working for Ring of Honor, working for AEW, specifically working for Ring of Honor, because I think right now they really could use it.
Yeah. Last night was the first AEW Dynamite live with a full audience attendance.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. It was great to have fans
great
back
on television.
Yeah. The fans were singing Judas again. And Chris Jericho couldn't help but have that, have not just a smirk, full tooth grin, man. He was real happy. You could just see it, and they had a heck of a show last night. Heck of a go-home show before Double or Nothing. Hangman Adam Page cutting a great promo while leaking blood. It was great, a great image. You had Britt Baker come on and come on and cut a promo on Hikaru Shida after they finally gave them a real size title.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not the tiny women's title anymore. It's like they gave them a new women's title. It's a bigger belt, which I think looks better. I liked the design. It was just too small. Guys, Double or Nothing was on Sunday. It's going to be a great card. A lot of cool matches too. A lot of good matches.
Absolutely. Once again, really just a great next 7 days for professional wrestling. Yeah. We hope to see some of you guys out at these events. We hope to see you out at the events next weekend. We hope to see you out this afternoon at CPW at Riverbend Park. But for us, that about does it.
Yes, sir, it does.
That about does it. We want to let you know that this show is brought to you by DisplayJ.com. Display J for all of your backdrop signage, table throws, prints, large display needs. Go to the guy who does it all. It is DisplayJ.com. You've got a guy in Display J. That about does it.
That does it.
All right, for myself and Rennes Carball, we will see you next week. Same podcast time, same podcast channel.
This is the Podcast Pit, brought to you by Venue Media.